possibilities or control robots with your mind?
Don't worry, honey. I'm okay. The procedure went well.
Today it's just a matter of getting a polymer injection to become...
Alright guys, first of all, also not to forget the single most anticipated and long-awaited AAA game when it comes to post-apocalyptic games in the making, although actually set in past times, we have Atomic Heart. Now this is only a reminder though, for those of you been patiently waiting to hear more about, Atomic Heart will now be released for PCs and consoles, both generation, and due out in the final quarter of 2022. Here's the new trailer.
Collective 2.0. All this knowledge will be available to anyone.
Arriving shortly at your destination with an ETA of 11:47.
Now, shut up! Why the hell should I believe you all?
We've got 30 seconds, let's go!
30 seconds to what?
And then it's total biap his dad, son. That's what.
What the bloody hell is going on?
The robots are out of control. They're killing everyone.
We know who's behind this.
You have to stop this nightmare now.
Humanity is doomed to eternal slavery. Days you will become unstoppable.
Do not believe him.
I don't even know who to believe anymore.
Coming up behind Atomic Heart, we have Crytek that just announced Crysis 4, and that it's actually been in the making for quite a while now. For which they also came out and released the shortest teaser of all time as well. And only that, Crysis 4 is now officially a working title after almost 10 years since the last game, and as you could probably tell, Crytek is holding its cards real close to its chest this time. Anyway, take a look in case you actually missed out on the trailer. Coming up behind Crysis at number 3, and I'm pretty sure most of you already know about the project, we have the self-described fast-paced strategy combat game, but what looks to be some sort of a Dead Rising meet Grand Theft Auto Nier Automata mix going by Showa American Story. Now, the game itself was announced no more than a couple of months ago by the Chinese developer and publishers, and now rumored to be coming to PCs and the PlayStation consoles only. That is either late 2022 or early next year, so just keep it in mind. We have, on the other hand, Aftermath, a psychological survival thriller set in a post-apocalyptic Earth, I actually forgot, but no matter what, in development for PlayStation and Xbox consoles in addition to PCs and expected to come out later in 2022. What I do know is that Aftermath focuses on the story of an astronaut who just came back to Earth and following a series of traumatic events on a search for a missing daughter, and all while fighting off, I don't know what that is either, along the way, so check it out. We have the day before, which is slated for release on the PCs and the next generation consoles, June 22nd this year. So for those of you new, this is an open world MMO survival game, as you could tell, a lot in the same vein as Division and Last of Us games. Now, this comes with elements of both PvP and PvE. We'll take a look, however, this trailer showcases what the zombies and environment will actually look like with NVIDIA ray tracing, and there's more.
An unknown strike team attacked Dower Synthetics.
I'd like to tell you about a girl I saw.
How many?
Too many.
Moving on, there's Wanted Dead. Specifically, one of the projects I was a bit blown away back a few months ago when it was revealed with like 20 seconds of gameplay only. A hack and slasher third-person shooter. For those of you who've been patiently waiting, some more gameplay and some in-game cutscenes in addition to a release window of 2022 scheduled to come out to PCs and consoles too.
There's more male nudity in your stories than in a Joaquin Phoenix flick.
Hey!
If I had just followed through, then I wouldn't be calling you.
There's a good chance you're already familiar with Forever Skies, though, since I mentioned it earlier in a few other lists as well. However, what I didn't mention before is that Forever Skies, which is, by the way, the first game from its developers who, prior to this, worked on Dying Light and Divinity games, is said to be a somewhat more relaxing version of Subnautica, which is some sort of a survival horror game in my opinion, but totally different as you can see, or at least in terms of settings. Check it out, this game is coming to PCs and consoles sometime later this year.
마더스피어의 구원을 아직 기다리고 있는 거야.
Project Eve, however, which is one of the projects I've actually tried to keep an eye out for this last few months specifically, a hack and slash adventure game from all the way back almost 4 years ago, which is looking super nice right now comparing to when it was revealed, actually has a release window rumored for either late 2022 or early next year. But that is it. In case you missed out, this is how the game actually looks like on the PlayStation 5. Alright guys, take a look at Derelicts, a somewhat simulator post-apocalyptic co-op survival horror game set years after an ancient and enigmatic mechanism has flooded Earth with this radiation. So it's now you and your team tasked with investigating the source of this incident, build, craft, and explore and use whatever source come in handy to survive as well. Check it out, this game is a PC exclusive and set to be coming in late 2022. Not to be mistaken with actually one of the really long-awaited first-person horror games in the making that goes by Ill, we have here brand new IP called Illness. Basically illness. A first-person atmospheric horror game where the player will have to hide in the darkness and shoot, basically try to escape whatever that is what I'm watching. I think it's pretty obvious that it's specifically taking clues from Ill, which is not my favorite thing about it either, so just take a look at it anyway. A release date for this game, however, is yet to be announced.
Между аномалией и маслиной я уже лучше пулю выберу.
Alright, Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is now, at the moment, one of the top 3 survival horror games of 2022 out of any website. There's way too many people who've been waiting a long time for, while the original series go back to more than 15 years ago. Stalker 2, however, Heart of Chernobyl is now officially set to be released on December 8th this year. As you can see, obviously it's an FPS game set in an alternate history Chernobyl exclusion zone, and not to mention it's also an open world game. Moving on, we've got 35mm, a post-apocalyptic photography game originally launched for PCs almost 7 years ago. Now, this game is basically coming to the PlayStation 4, for those of you who've been waiting to have hands on your PlayStations, that is on March 2nd this year. And about a few hours ago, the fine folks at the team just came up with a new trailer for it, which is, as you can see, set in a post-apocalyptic Russia, and the story of which revolves around 2 travelers and their journey of survival. Take a look.
В доме ничего нет. Осмотрись сам, если хочешь.
Frostwalker Legend is a fresh out of the oven open world sandbox hack and slasher at heart. From an indie developer as well, there's not much to say about this one other than the fact that it is set around the year 4099, in which, as you can see, robots are the only species, if you could call them that, which have remained on Earth. Take a look, this game is a PC exclusive through Steam and due out possibly sometime later this year. The Furia, on the other hand, which I'm kinda new to myself as well, is an open-world first-person shooter at heart, but at the same time incorporating survival horror elements like this base building, some primitive life settlement simulation stuff, kind of in the same vein as DayZ, and you know, there's actually a lot to compare this one to. Anyway, here's coming to PCs only, mid to late this year.
From the ruins of the old ones to its sunken depths, it is ruled by the machines.
And last but not least, it's Horizon Forbidden West, which is what I'm hearing to be nothing much more than another saving the world formula from the first game, in terms of mechanics and gameplay, for the least. But to be fair, with just one hell of a visual upgrade if we're actually going for this one in 4K on the PlayStation 5 though. Take a look, this game's available now on the PlayStation consoles for the price of $59 US.
Each more dangerous than the last. The strongest are built only to kill. It is said there are those who can harness them, even bend them to their will. A powerful secret that, in the wrong hands, will lead to a storm of destruction not seen since the time of the old ones.